Hi everyone, and welcome to Jane Talks Real. It's Slayer Sunday, where I will be discussing and reviewing all the episodes of Buffy the Vampire Slayer in order. Today I'm going to look at Season 2, Episode 1, When She Was Bad. We kick things off in a graveyard where Willow and Xander are playing movie trivia. They are both bored because nothing has happened all summer. Willow does point out there has been no monster or vampire activity, but Xander says he's restless. Uh-oh. The last time he said that, he was possessed by a hyena spirit. He can't wait for school to start, but Willow puts this down to him wanting to see Buffy, who's been away all summer. She's right, of course, so Xander boops her on the nose with his ice cream. They have a really cute moment when Xander goes to lick it off, which turns into a romantic moment, which gets interrupted by a vampire. Peekaboo! Xander is a total G, pushing Willow to safety while he fights their attacker. Buffy shows up seconds later and kicks him into a tree. Is that an ash tree? I'll leave now. She asks if they missed her, and into the credits we go. Hugs are had, but Buffy scolds both of them for not carrying any weapons. Xander points out there have been no vampires since Buffy killed the Master, and she's just so thrilled to be back after a summer of shopping and partying. Xander admires her new hair, which is the kind of look you go for when you're stabbed by Ghostface and thrown off a balcony. The pair admit that the highlight of their summer was chucking holy water on the Master's bones and burying them beneath a tree. This is now the second mention of the Master and the second time Buffy is wigged out. I'm sure that won't be at all important this episode. Joyce and Hank are talking about Buffy, and this is Dean Butler's final real appearance as her father. All subsequent appearances will be dreams or hallucinations. Hank tells Joyce that Buffy was really well behaved during her stay with him, but she was distant, causing him to overcompensate in the shopping department.
When she was burning stuff down, I knew what to say.
Joyce admits that she can't get through to her either. School is back in session and Cordelia is bitching about her beachless summer in Italy. Eye roll. And her voice sounds different here.
Is it possible to have too much character?
Snyder is his usual hateful self and compares the kids to a plague. Giles is just thrilled to be on the receiving end of this rant. But he gets all googly over Jenny and the pair ditch him. Wait a minute, go back. Yeah, that clock says 8:16 and yet this place is swarming with kids and teachers. Is this a TV thing or an American thing? Because here in the UK, everyone rocks up to school about 8:45, ready for registration at 9. The gang run into Giles and it's clear that Buffy has not contacted him all summer. Willow blurts out way too loudly that she killed a vampire. Smooth, Will, real smooth. Giles thinks Buffy should get back into training and she agrees to meet him after school, where Sarah Michelle Gellar's stunt double shows how flippy and athletic she is. And how can she do all that with her hair down? I have to tie my hair back just to read a book. Giles is seriously concerned as Buffy goes nuts, getting flashes of the Master. Giles tells her to stop, but she busts the equipment and is seriously over-caffeinated or something. That night, some vampires meet in a warehouse, and this dude is spouting off some sermon about New Hope coming in 3 days. Colin is also there, sporting a boy band hairstyle. Buffy continues to be distant when Willow and Xander check up on her, but she's suddenly alert when Giles comes with news of the latest vampire activity. She says whatever it is, she'll deal with it, but Giles points out how easy it was to kill her, and then punches her across the table. What the fuck? He starts to strangle her, but Willow and Xander are indifferent about the whole thing. Buffy rips off Giles' face to reveal the Master, who is played here by David Boreanaz, and she wakes up to discover it was all a dream, obviously. Her window is wide open and seriously, that's how you let in bugs, stray cats or vampires. Angel is there to check how she is and she's kind of a dick to him. He delivers the news that the Anointed One is amassing vamps, but Buffy is blasé and says she can handle it. Now the conversation that follows alludes to Colin being a vampire, but I'm going to hold off counting him as a transformation until I get confirmation. I didn't count him as anything during his initial appearance in Never Kill a Boy on the First Date, even though technically that's when it happened. But I'm operating with a show don't tell policy with how I count things, so don't think I've forgotten about him. Anyway, Buffy turns her back to Angel, but he tells her he missed her before climbing out the window. The next day, for real this time, Xander organises a trip to the Bronze to see a band they like before Cordelia shows up to be catty to them and talking loudly about vampires.
Cordelia, your mouth is open. Sound is coming from it. This is never good.
Xander pulls her to one side and explains that's all supposed to be hush hush, so Cordelia promises to keep it secret, and Buffy is just savage.
You won't tell anyone that I'm the Slayer, and I won't tell anyone you're a moron.
Chibo Mato is playing at the Bronze, and guitar guy here is Sean Lennon, son of Beatles legend John Lennon and Yoko Ono. Willow tries to convince a distracted and agitated Xander that something is up with Buffy, but when he ignores her, she tries to recreate their cute moment from before. But Xander, to her disappointment, misses the point. Meanwhile, Colin's vampires are digging up Master Superdead, but the holy water is causing them problems. Buffy finally rocks up to the Bronze, and Angel tries to work out what he's done to upset her. Buffy gives him the cold shoulder and drags Xander off for a very sexy dance and starts grinding up against him. Angel and Willow look confused/upset. Buffy gets all up in Xander's business and then leaves him with blue balls. Cordelia goes after her, scolding her for acting like such a bitch lately, and warns her that if she keeps it up, she's going to lose all her friends. Buffy isn't interested in her opinion and walks away just in time for Cordelia to get abducted. She's marched down some stairs, at least I think that's what's happening, I can't see shit, where she finds Jenny Calendar unconscious. Oh yeah, I'd already forgotten she was in this episode. Buffy goes for a graveyard walk where she discovers under a dark tree in a dark hole, the Master's bones no longer live. Cue the panic and peekaboo Davy B, I see you! It's another morning in school and geez, we're just blasting through these days, aren't we? Anyway, Willow is pitching her theory to Giles that Buffy is possessed, perhaps as a result of some mystical doodad when she killed the Master. Giles, however, thinks her behaviour may be more seated in reality and she's suffering from PTSD. Buffy walks up behind them and Xander tries to warn Giles, but he ends up looking foolish.
Trout, yes, trout is a fish. Good morning.
Buffy blurts out the Master's grave now has a vacancy and that a resurrection is on the horizon. She blames Giles for not warning her and then snaps at Willow before Snyder comes in to break it up. We get this interaction between him and Giles.
There's some things I can just smell. It's like a sixth sense.
No, actually, that would be one of the 5.
And I desperately want these two to take their double act on the road. Snyder says he knows that Buffy will end up expelled, and he's not wrong, but that will have to wait until the end of the season. In the library later on, Giles translates some information about how to resurrect a vampire. The Anointed needs 2 things, the Master's bones, check, and the blood of someone closest to him. Buffy thinks she fits that bill, seeing as mutual murder tends to bring people together. Xander... Shit, that scared me! A rock comes flying through the window with a note and Cordelia's choker attached that invites Buffy on a little rescue mission to the Bronze. Sorry, can I just point out that Willow is dressed like a minion? Anyway, Buffy is ready to rush off guns blazing without the others, but Willow points out that it's an obvious trap. Buffy doesn't care, so Willow yells at her.
Stop saying that! God, what's wrong with you?
But it falls on deaf ears and Buffy heads out. She goes to the Bronze where she finds a woman crying on the floor who is clearly A, not Cordelia, and B, a vampire. Angel comes in confused by the trap.
There's the bait. Where's the hook?
And Buffy realises that something is very wrong. Giles takes another look at the text and retranslates it as the blood of someone nearest to the Master, not closest, which means whoever was physically with the Master when he died is in trouble. Oh shit. Buffy books it back to the library, but she's too late. She finds an injured Xander because, oh yeah, he was with Angel when the Master died. He is so very over whatever Buffy's problem is.
If they hurt Willow, I'll kill you.
They don't know where they would have been taken, so Buffy interrogates her only lead. The vamp is adamant that she's not going to tell her anything, so Buffy sticks a cross in her mouth. Wow, she is not playing around. Colin is prepping for the ritual and the 4 hostages are strung up above the Master. Man, that does not look comfortable to film. Buffy interrupts by staking this one guy and the fight is on. Head Vamp ushers Colin to safety while Xander and Angel rescue the others. Angel gets his game face on when he's attacked, and Buffy takes out Green Sweater Vamp. Angel stakes his opponent, which I can barely see, but it counts, while Buffy wails on this guy until Head Vamp yells for her to stop, before threatening her with a sledgehammer. She's not impressed and takes both remaining vampires out at the same time. A stake for you, and some fire for you. She picks up the discarded sledgehammer and smashes the Master's remains into a fine powder. Wait, is he flipping her the bird? Angel holds her while she cries. The next day, Buffy is nervous to face the others after her behaviour nearly got them killed. And hey, is Giles a member of Gryffindor? He gives me such Ravenclaw vibes. As she sits down in class, Buffy realises that things are going to be okay. Colin is pissed though.
I hate that girl.
So this episode isn't super memorable to me. I mean, I remembered the opening and Buffy going hard on the Master's bones with a sledgehammer, but before I watched it, I couldn't have told you how Season 2 started despite me rewatching the series during the first lockdown. It's a much more substantial episode than any of the ones in Season 1, because even though we blazed through several days, the story didn't feel at all rushed. Buffy's behaviour and the themes of this episode hit a little bit too close to home for me as someone who has battled mental health issues. Acting out, being distant, pushing people away. Even though the show is mystical, it doesn't shy away from exploring real behaviour and issues. As I said, it hits a little too close to home and I prefer the more light-hearted and fun episodes, but it doesn't mean it's bad. In fact, it's very good. However, its darker tone is probably why I found it not as memorable. This feels like a bit of a turning point for Cordelia, as she's not as obnoxious as she was in Season 1, and Xander really comes into his own with how he interacts with both Willow and Buffy. I've never been super into Xander as a character, but I can't deny how much he grows through the series. I'm so excited to carry on with this season. Okay, so I'm going to reset the death count for each new season just so it's easier to keep track of. So we begin Season 2 with 6 vampire deaths. The one kicked into a tree at the beginning, the vamp Buffy surprises from behind, green sweater lady killed by Buffy, with Angel taking out this guy in pretty much darkness shortly after. Then we end with the twofer of this guy staked by Buffy and this guy, apparently called Absalom, going up in flames. 6 deaths, 6 vampires. And there you have it. That was When She Was Bad. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below or come say hi on social media. If you enjoyed this video, then please like, share and subscribe. I'll speak to you soon, and don't let the vampires bite.